take a look at domain and range from a function. So this says state the domain of h where h of x is equal to 9x plus 9 over x squared minus 81. The domain is the set of all possible inputs. So the domain is everything you can plug into this function. And you can really do almost anything you want with a fraction like this. The only thing that you cannot do with a fraction is you cannot divide by 0. So when I'm thinking of the domain, often it helps to think about the values that are not possible or the things that you cannot plug in. So two things that come up pretty often: you cannot divide by 0, and you can't take the square root of a negative number. So here I've got h of x is equal to 9x plus 9 over x squared minus 81. And I know I can't have the bottom of the fraction equaling 0. I can't divide by 0. So x squared minus 81, I do not want that equal to 0. And I'm going to solve this. So I'm going to move that 81 to the other side, adding it over. And then I'm going to take the square root of this. When I take the square root, I always have the plus and minus. Square root of 81 is 9. So I can plug in any value I want except for a positive 9 or a negative 9. Because if you did that, you'd have 9 squared as 81. 81 minus 81 would give you 0. And you'd have a 0 in the denominator if you plugged in the positive 9. If you plugged in the negative 9, same deal. Negative 9 squared gives you a positive 81. Positive 81 take away 81 would also give you 0. Let's look at another example of finding the domain. This says find the domain of r, and r is this function here, where r of x is equal to the square root of 2 plus x all over 8 minus x. So there are two things that I want to keep in mind here. First thing I want to keep in mind: I want to make sure that I don't have 0 in the bottom. So I don't want 8 minus x equaling 0. So solving, I can add x to the other side. I can't plug 8 in for x. Otherwise, I have 8 minus 8, and I'm dividing by 0. That's a bad thing. This has a second component to it that I need to be a little bit careful with. I've got the square root, and I need the inside of the radical of the root to be positive. So I'm going to take the inside of this expression, 2 plus x, and I need that to be bigger or equal to 0. Now, if I subtract this 2 to the other side, this tells me that I need x values that are bigger or equal to negative 2. Another way to write this is I want every number from negative 2 and including, so with that bracket, up to infinity. Now, I actually have both of these restrictions. So I need to make sure that I don't have the number 8, and I need to make sure that the number is between negative 2 and infinity. There are a lot of different ways to write this, but you could say the domain is from negative 2 to 8, not including 8 because we want to take that away, or, and this is the symbol or. Whenever your answer has multiple pieces, you can say or. It's from 8 to infinity. If you just said x can be equal to 8 and you need it to be from -2 to infinity, I would know what you're talking about. The way that we would write this is this, though. It's from -2 to 8, and it's from 8 to infinity. It's really anything in this range except for the number 8. Definitely takes a while to get used to domain and range. I encourage you to keep practicing, but I hope this gives you one step to kind of help get you in that direction.